so much, Vera. And hi, everybody. What a beautiful room you all are. You know, I love it that there's so much pink going on and so much femininity and so much power, right? So like Vera said, my name is Gretchen Hydo, and I want to thank the Women in Chemicals team for asking me to come and be your presenter today. Prior to becoming a coach, I was a publicist for many, many years. And what I have learned from both careers is that women like to hide. So what we're going to talk about today is how do you create your image? What needs to happen so that you can show up in a room and be remembered for it? Right now, whether you know it or not, you're leaving your imprint. The way you walked into this room, the way you're sitting next to the person that you're sitting by, the way you're going to leave this room. There's a piece of you that is going to enter before you and leave after you. And that's partly what we're talking about when we're thinking about your professional image today. And let's take it even further. Your image is everything, right? It's in your personal life, professional life, but it's going to be the thing that helps you to be remembered. And what I want to make sure today is that as you are remembered, we get to see, are you remembered in a way that you want to be, or is it a way that makes you feel uncomfortable? And what do I mean by that? If we do not create the dialogue about who we are, somebody else will. So here's something that I find all the time with my women who are uncomfortable doing self-promotion. They're worried that they're going to look pushy. Maybe they're going to be called aggressive. They fear that they won't seem humble. And deep down, they're afraid that the image that they might create, they won't be able to live up to. So if you're nodding your head or feeling like, yeah, you're in the right place, we're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so going over this, and we're going to see what we can do. But here's what I want you to know. The truth. When you do not own your personal brand, it's still a way of owning it. It really is. So you get to decide if you're going to take the reins and get the brand that you want and create it for yourself, or if someone else is going to do that for you. And I want you to be the director of your story and end up with one that isn't passively told. So that's what we're going to do today. All righty. So this statistic always floors me. According to LinkedIn, 82% of hiring managers say your personal brand influences promotions. And yet, last year, only 22% of women reported receiving a promotion. Guess what percent men had? 50. 50% of men said that they received a promotion versus 22% of women. And here's the deal. The gap is not about your talent. This is one powerful, talented room of females, and I can tell I'd want you all on my team. The gap is the visibility and the willingness to say, put me first. I can do it. I'm the one that you should count on because of those fears that we already talked about. I don't want to look aggressive. I don't want to look needy. I don't want to look like I'm trying to take over. And we're taught to be so polite. That doesn't get you anywhere, you know, and these are some old rules that we've all been told that we need to live by. So we can't afford to be passive about how we're seen. And your personal brand is this. It's your entire body of work. It's your presence, it's your follow through, and if you're not intentional, someone else is going to write it for you. So the question becomes, do you want to be defined? Or do you want to direct where it is that you're going? And I think all of us in this room want to direct, or you would have gone to the session next door. So let's keep going with it. So here's what's going to happen today. I already see the copious note takers and the people taking pictures. Great, do it. And at the end, there will be a QR code. We're actually going to take a couple of minutes for a drawing and some other things. But you're going to get all of the slides with all of the stats. You're also going to get a giveaway. It's an emotion cycle, which is going to help you to be able to be the director of your feelings. Because so many of the times, the reason we are not doing what we want to do in the boardroom or in our offices or our chairs in Zoom with our sweatpants on the bottom. You know, I call it the mullet. You've got the profession on the top and the party at the bottom. You know, the mullet wardrobe. What's happening there, I want to make sure that you are feeling the way that you need to feel to be powerful, to have clarity, and to have confidence, because those are the things that get you the jump up. So you'll be able to download that. Just make sure you do the QR code. But here's where we're going. We're going to get some brand clarity. I want you all, we're going to see how are you currently showing up. And I want the truth of it. This is a space where I want you to feel like I'm just going to go for it. I might as well write it down. I'm spending 45 minutes here anyway. Why not? We're going to do an awareness shift. You know, you're here, but you really want to be here. I'm going to show you how to get there. And then we're going to create your power statement so that you can leave with something tangible that you can use right now. So that's where we're going with this. Okay, so I want to tell you about a client of mine. We can call her Stephanie. She delivered flawless work. She's so strategic, she's smart, she's reliable, but in meetings, she's really, really quiet. She's so uncomfortable speaking up, mostly because the team is full of people that she finds intimidating and pretty male-dominated. And she also thought, you know, when I coached her, she would say, but Gretchen, my work should speak for itself. And while it should, it didn't. It didn't speak for itself. It really was forgettable, not because she was forgettable, but because a lot of times people aren't opening the emails. They're not looking at what you sent to them. They're not preparing before a meeting. They're scanning. They show up the way we all show up before a meeting, with enough to get through the meeting to look like you did something, but they weren't looking at her great details. So while she was credible, she was invisible. How many of you have ever felt like that? Just raise your hands. I can see most of you, even with the sunshine on my face from this big bright light. Okay, so here's the other thing. The cost of being credible but invisible is not moving in your career. It's not ever getting the kudos that you deserve, and it's not getting the raise, the bonus, the next big promotion. It's the idea that because you're credible but invisible, you won't be able to bridge that gap to what the men did last year with all of their promotions. And that's the thing that we want to stop. So what we're really looking at is, how do we get you to visible and valued? What does that need to be like? When we are visible and we are building upon what people say in meetings, or we're leading what is said in meetings, that becomes valuable. We can no longer hide behind the email. We can't hide behind our desks. We can't hide behind the old beliefs that we have that we're not good at speaking. Oh, what I say might not be the right thing. It's time to take chances. Because visible people, even when they are wrong, seem valuable. How many times have you met someone and if they say it like it's true, you believe it? Just raise your hand. If the person says it like it's true, you don't know if it's true. You're like, yeah, great, that sounds great. You can do it too. And most of the time it will be true, right? It's mostly true. You think it's true, therefore go with it. And when you are in a room with your counterparts, if you don't know what to say, I still want you to say something. And here's what that sounds like. You listen to whomever, and then you say, oh, I really like what you said there, Gretchen, and I want to build upon this thought. And then say something. Even if you're basically repeating what was said, it makes you look visible. Visible is valuable. So you all have, and that's the PR side of me, okay? So PR is a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And it's all about making you look really good and all of that. So let's smoke and mirror you up with your credibility, and then you're going to look really valuable. Get out your pretty pink handout that you have here. You're going to see under brand awareness that there's a prompt that says, think of a recent meeting or email. How did you show up? Were you credible but invisible? Maybe you weren't even that credible. Were you just invisible and not credible? Like, what were you? Or were you visible and valuable? Or were you none of these things? But write it down and let's be honest. Let's really look at this honestly so that we can get you to that next level. So just take a minute to do that. So a Harvard study found that women are significantly more likely to fear being seen as self-promotional, and this shows up. It shows up everywhere. Women are 28% less likely to actively promote their accomplishments. They don't lead with, hey, I just closed on this great client contract that brought in $1 million for the company, or my team improved by 15%. They're not there doing the promotion. And when that happens, nobody knows. Nobody knows that they did this great thing except them and maybe their direct person above them, their superior. And what happens is that even though the women are usually outperforming others, if people don't know, they don't get the promotion. So raise your hand if you've ever stayed quiet because you felt like you were too much. Who in the room is the too much? Okay, I'm a too much. Okay, I'm too much. I'm the too much. Yeah, I love it. I love all my ladies like, woohoo, that's me. Me too, girls, me too. Okay, good, good. Too much isn't bad. Raise your hand if you've ever felt too little. Yeah, thank you for raising your hand. Too little usually doesn't raise their hand. It's us aggressive ones that were like, it's me, it's me. All right, either way, same coin, heads or tails, right? And what we're looking for is the middle. So here's what happens. When we shrink, we overcompensate in other ways. And when we're too big, we undercompensate in different ways. So this is really about nuances. Think back to that meeting that I told you to think about, and think about if you were credible and invisible or visible and valued, what needed to happen? What did you need to say? And maybe, my too muchers, you needed to just say it with a different tone. Fix the face, right? Fix that face. I have to fix my face all the time too, and you just, smile lightly. Keep it on the inside, what it is that you're thinking. And for those of you who you're not even making a face, make a face. Make a face, do something. We have to be alive in the room. That helps you to be visible. And here's the deal. Everything that I'm teaching you today, it's to help you with your own self-promotion and to help you to create the brand that is called you. You, beautiful you. This room is beautiful. This room is powerful. Okay, so underneath the silence that happens, it's usually not a strategy. It's emotion or a feeling. It's a fear. Maybe there's shame, there's some insecurity, there's this idea that you have to be a perfectionist, there's the imposter syndrome, and that's what keeps us from doing what it is that we need to do. On the handout, there's a section that says, write down 3 words that people would use to describe you today. Think of that last meeting and just the credible or visible. What are 3 words in that meeting that your colleagues, your counterparts would use to describe you? Because whether you know it or not, those words are already a part of your brand. And if we don't like those words, if they're not the words that you want because they're not the most powerful, we're going to bridge the gap today so that you can change them. So who's willing to shout out some of their words? What's a word? Okay, positive, did someone say? Okay, and what did you say?
Driven.
Driven. Who else? Over here. What's a word?
Aggressive.
Aggressive. Who else? What's another word?
Decisive.
Decisive. Good, go ahead. Well-spoken. Okay, so these are all great words to describe you. Did anyone have words that maybe aren't quite as powerful? Something that you're willing, we're safe, this is a safe group, but it's a word that it's like, yeah, this is probably how they would describe me. Anyone have nice? Anyone, would you be described as nice? Okay, I see a few hands with nice. Yeah, yeah. Anyone have caring on theirs? Yeah. How about nurturing on your list, that's how they describe you? Anyone the work mom? Work wife? Yeah, we don't want to do that. We've got enough of that at home. Forget that. Forget it. Forget it. I know you think it's good because you're at least getting paid, but forget that noise. We're not interested. So we want to think about the strategic ways that we can change this, because work wife is not a descriptor that we want on LinkedIn. Am I right? Yeah, and we don't even get a raise for it. They want to keep you in that position because who wants to lose their work wife? Nobody. We're great. Okay, so your brand, it's more than just your LinkedIn headline. It's every moment of interaction. It's how you speak up or how you don't. It's what people feel the minute they see your name in their inbox. Think about that. How do you think people feel when they see your name in their inbox? Is it, oh God. And we all know those people, right? We do. We know, and we're laughing because sometimes we are those people. I know when I am sending an email that the other one's going to be like, oh God. Yeah, and I know when I'm opening emails where I'm like, ugh, don't be that person, right? And what is it in those emails? It's already their personal brand coming through. That's it. We don't even know what the email says, and half the time we don't want to read it because we're guessing. That's personal brand, and that's why this is so important. What about when you're going to have a meeting with somebody and it's, same thing, because now you have to go and sit with them. Or maybe it's Zoom and you're going to keep your camera off. I don't understand these Zoom meetings with camera off. Like, what's happening? Is everyone just doing laundry and pretending that they're there? Yeah, me too. I get it. Okay, but that's personal brand. So what we're really looking for here, I love these 3 circles: visibility, voice, and value. And let me break it down. Your visibility is how often and where people see you. Do you show up in the right rooms? Are you inside of conversations that are going to move the needle from where you are today to where you want to go? If not, we need to change your visibility. You know, you can always talk to the person that you work with and find out what the career trajectory is for you. What comes next and how do I get there? Asking these questions makes you visible. It already shows that your personal brand is a brand that wants more than where it currently is. If we are not asking questions about what comes next in my career trajectory, or I'd like to be the VP and I need you to come up with me with how long this plan is going to take. Oh no, I didn't mean 5 years, I meant how do we fast track it in 12 months. It's advocating. And women have not always been taught how to do this. Voice. So your voice is how you communicate. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your tone, your confidence, you're willing to speak up when it matters, and the nuances. So I've had some great coaching sessions with women while I've been here, and it's the nuances that we've been going over. You know, you can say something, you can ask for something, but it's the way that you say it that will get you the yes or the no and create your brand. So let's say that you are feeling as if someone is interrupting you or talking over you all the time. You might say, don't interrupt me. You might, or you might just let them talk on and on and on. Either way, you're communicating. But what you could say is, oh, you know what, Peter? I'm just going to use that name. I don't know why. You know what, Peter? It sounds like an interrupter. I can see that you're really eager to share something with me. Would you like me to pause so that you don't lose your thought? Do you see how that's different than don't interrupt me or just letting Peter talk? Peter's a talker, you know, and so when we say things with these nuances, we use our voice, it changes things. Let's say you want a raise and it's an outlandish amount of money that you want. It's really not, but you think it is. You go in and you get to ask for it, and first you want to give the reasons why. You know, Barbara, I'm really thinking that I want to move my career forward, and here's the place I'd like to be going next. You show the path of where you want to go next, and here's what I think the compensation should be. Maybe it's a $40,000 jump, and Barbara's like, yeah, that's nice, dear. I love it when they call you dear. That's nice, dear. And you know that you're already losing. What you get to say in that situation is, well, Barbara, tell me what the path is to that. So you didn't just take the answer. Using your voice is key. So visibility, voice, and value. Your work, your value needs to show up, and you need to show that you have that value. So the value is the impact that you bring. Think about that last meeting that you had. Go back, and I want you to just think about it. What value did you bring? What impact did you bring in that meeting? It's okay if the answer is none, but just know that's part of your personal brand. Okay? Am I with everyone still? Are people getting something from this? Just kind of give me a thumbs up smile. I'm blind up here with this thing, but yeah, good. Thank you. All right, so we want to make sure that people say when you're in the room or not in the room, we need her in this room. That's what we're going for. When you align, when these three things align, your brand becomes unforgettable and people invite you into situations where they might not have before. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So here's the gap that holds women back. The rules, you know, the rules. We were taught things like stay small, be polite, be really prepared. Overthink. How many of you are overthinkers? Where's my anxious ladies? Whole room. Thank you. We're in unity together on that. Us work wives and everything else. Okay, I see you. Here's something else. We are taught to overcompensate, to apologize. How many of you are sorry when you don't even know why? It's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, lots of sorry people. Don't be so sorry anymore because none of you are really sorry, or we say sorry just because we don't want someone to be mad and we're worried. That's back to those emotions. But here's what happens. When we think about this, we want our next version of ourselves to be bold and consistent. When you are consistent, people know that they can count on you, your words, your actions, and your good work, and we need to be visible. We also need to stop waiting for permission. If you want something, you must voice it. Nobody is guessing for you because they're all overthinking for themselves. They're not thinking for you, they're thinking for them. You need to be the one to think for you. Okay, so these are, when I coach, and I've coached so many women executives, these are the three biggest brand distortions that happen. The rule follower, overdoer, anxious, overthinker, has every detail done, working on weekends, texting at night, not really paying attention to anything but the work, the work, the work. This is a coping mechanism, and it's also checkout mode. Invisible expert. You want this person on your team, by the way, but don't be this person. They do all the research work. Like, they're the expert, and then if you're shiny, if you're in the too much bucket and you present it, you look really good, but invisible expert, it's like they're not even there. And that's a hard position to be in. This is the person that gets passed up for credit. This is the person that feels so resentful on the inside, and they're angry because it's like, how many of us did the class project and we just did it alone because we knew it would get done? They're doing that. And then there's the perfection prover. This is all of the ways that you exhaust yourself so that you are never wrong. So that you are not wrong. So if you resonate with any of these, can you stand up for a minute? Just stand. I want you to see this room. Yeah. All right, my rule followers, my invisible experts, perfection prover. How about those of you that are worried about hurting people's feelings? Stand up if you're worried ever about, and just everyone keep standing if you've stood. How many of you are worried about hurting people's feelings? Yeah. How many of you are worried that somehow you don't look right, speak right, act right? Stand up. Yeah, and I love it. You're already standing, so you raise your hand too. That's right. That's right. And can I raise my leg as well? Let's just get it all up here. Right? But look at how other we all feel, but look at how the same we all are. In this room, when you look up, almost everybody's standing. And if I kept going, I could get everyone to stand. Thank you. You can sit back down. I appreciate that. So here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to do a mini little breakout. What I want you to do, this is on part 2 where it says old rules to unlearn. I want you to think about what you were taught growing up or somewhere in your career about what it means to be professional as a woman. What is it? What is the rule that you are supposed to be following? Is it to be a good girl at work? Is it to get it all done? The rule, okay, so I had a job when I was probably 21. I'm still employed, but I had a job when I was 21. And I was supposed to be like an executive assistant. That's a terrible job for me, by the way. What I really wanted to be was the boss's boss because I had all of these good ideas. I wasn't qualified. I didn't know, I really didn't know anything, but I did know that their marketing was really bad. I went into the boss's office and said, hey, I have an idea for you. And she stood up and said, I'm your superior, you're my subordinate, do not question my authority. And I quit because I was 21, it was pizza money. No, thank you, don't talk to me that way. But I am your superior, you are my subordinate, do not question my authority. What rules have you learned? Take a minute and write it down. So what I want you to think about with that rule is, how has that rule followed you or shaped you in your career? Where have you either stood underneath that rule as truth, or you totally threw the table over? Like I quit. I was like, you're not subordinate. What do you even mean? I think you're my subordinate because I'm the too much one. So think about, though, how has this rule followed you and what part has it become of your personal brand? You know, for me, being someone that was obstinate, that's not really a good look for a personal brand, but I promise you that that's one that followed me for a long time until I did this kind of work. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is, so then what do you want to be known for? We've taken a look at what's the truth, how did people see you in that meeting, where did it work, where did it not work, and we took a look at the rules, you know, what are some of the rules that you're living under instead of above. But right now, when you think about what it is that is true for you and where you want to go, it's really important to stop and ask yourself, am I on the trajectory that I want to be on, or is everything just being chosen for me? We often chase goals just for the sake of chasing them, but we don't even know if at the end of it, it's getting us to the place that we want to arrive. So this is important. Your trajectory right now, is it because you want it? Is it because it's in alignment with who you really are? Or is it in alignment with the old way, the old rule, the way that people might describe you as you are currently instead of where you want to go? What's the discrepancy? And we're going to be able to change it if you want to change it. So when we're not intentional, someone else decides, as we've talked about. So what we're going to do is flip it. When you walk in a room, when your name gets mentioned, or even when you're not in the room at all, what's the impression that you want to leave behind? When they get your email, do you want to be, or is it like, oh, this person's going to have something interesting to say, they're a problem solver, I'm going to open it right away and get back to them. So think about that. Maybe it's something like you want to be strategic, calm, clear, bold, precise, inspiring. There's no right or wrong. There's only power in what you pick. And what you pick is where you get to go. This is your compass. So think about those things for a moment, and then on your, flip the page to page 2, where it says, what do you want to be known for? Choose 3 bold words and write them there for yourself so that you have something that you can be thinking about and working towards. From that experience of being obstinate and a subordinate, what I knew I wanted to be was a leader, collaborative, and chosen. Chosen was really important for me. I wanted to feel included. I wanted to feel like even though I was only 21 and hadn't worked my way up or whatever it was, that my ideas were good. I wanted to be valued. So what needed to happen was I needed to be a contributor. That was something I wanted people to think of me as, a contributor, not just the loudmouth, abrasive 21-year-old girl that I was in that moment, but what could I be? What could I grow into? And the way that that worked out in my career is entrepreneur. I have my own business. I'm not anybody's subordinate. You know, when I work with people, I work well with others. People know me as a problem solver. They come to me when they have a big problem. So my name is one that people highly trust. Call Gretchen if you have a big problem. Oh, you need help with your career, you want to call her. You want $100,000 raise, you want to know how to get that bonus, call Gretchen. That's the way that I got to go up in the world instead of staying in those lower ranks because of my own thinking and because of my own rules. Now that you have those current words, I want you to think about what you wrote before about how they saw you in the meeting and what you have written down as far as this idea of what you want to be known for. And then think about it. If, let's say that your word is helpful, that's a current word, but you really want to be known as strategic, what do you need to do to be that way? What has to happen? Because something needs to shift. So maybe it's that you need to speak in headlines. Maybe it's you want to finally be seen. You don't want to just be a helper. You want to be a leader. So that means you have to take charge more. So think about the gap between the first words you wrote and the words that you wrote down now. What's one small shift that you can try at your next meeting or in that next email? Just take a moment to write that down. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. Your power statement is your personal brand distilled down. It's not a brag, it's a declaration. Clear, confident statement about who you are, what you bring, and the impact that you create. In your handout, you're going to see this template. Take a minute, and with everything that you have written down, I want you to fill this out. Just take a second, because here's the clues to your power statement. It's where have you helped others? If someone were to say, this is what I would go to her for, what are they saying about you? When you think about the places you value yourself or you're holding back, what needs to be in this I am statement? You know, because this is where you can take these things to use it on your LinkedIn, you can use it for an intro, you can use it for the way that you feel. The backbone of the work that I do with most of my women is BOLD, and what it really stands for is break those rules, ladies. Own your truth, and that's what you're doing right now with your power statement. This is what's true about who you are. It's not that old version. Live loud. I always say live loud and softly. You know, that you want to live loud, but you want to do it in a way that is pleasing for yourself and that gets you into the rooms that you want to, and define your own success. If you are not going in the way that you want to go, then it's time to change that and to start paying attention to, does my brand, these words that people think about me, really show who I am, or is it somebody else's version of me? So I had a client, her name's Mia. She was so good at her job, and she was different than that other client that I told you about. You know, both of them were smart, energetic, reliable, but here's what happened with Mia. Mia practiced her power statement. She really made sure that she leaned into it so that it was a part of who she was in the fabric. When people got her emails, they were willing to open them. When she was in a room, they listened to what it is that she had to say. She would say her power statement every day before she left for work because she said it gave her energy before even getting into the room. And here's what happened for her. 6 months after our work together, she got promoted to a VP job. And it was a job that she'd wanted for years, but had just not captured it or taken any ownership. And the best part was, it wasn't a job that she had applied for. They came to her and said, we'd like to offer this to you. So that's the difference when you own your image and you own your brand. So what you do matters. What you think about matters. When you think about the behaviors that it's going to take for you to live this power statement, write at least one down that you need to do to make sure that you can start bringing this to life. And it might be things like working on the nuances of language, fixing your face in meetings, speaking up in meetings, being more prepared. And ladies, I have to say, you know, the mullet thing with party on the bottom and business on the top, if you want to feel bold and you really want to lean into your power statement, wear pants. You know, I know that we don't all like buttons anymore, the zipper or whatever, but like the better you look, the better you're going to feel. It really does make a difference. All right, so this is something that I call my brand messaging bank. This is going to help you with your prompts. So this is something that you think about. I'm the person in the room that. I'm the person people come to for. These three things are what I want to be known for. When I'm in the room, I want people to feel. So take a minute and just, you can write it. This one doesn't have a prompt on the worksheet, but you can write it there somewhere. The impact I create is. And think about your impact for a minute. The impact I create is. What is it? What is that impact? Well, I promise you it's part of your bold brand clarity. I know that I told you a little bit, you know, you're going to get the slides, you're going to get that emotion cycle gift, and you're also going to get access to a workshop that I have coming up where we go much deeper on this. This is just a quick 45-minute session, so we can't like get under it. But if you could take 2 minutes to just fill this out, that would be great. And at the same time, what I want you to do is, if you have a business card, and if you don't, have a piece of paper, write it down. We are going to do a drawing for my books and my workbook that are going to help you with everything that we've talked about today. So you can just get that out. But if you want to be able to have access to the slides and to those giveaways, that workshop as well as the slides, then make sure you get a copy of this QR code. It's also on your worksheet. Okay, so here is how we are going to close this out. I want you to activate your brand, and what I want you to think about is, where can you put this so that you can see it? If we want to change our behavior, we have to start doing it subconsciously first. And this is where, when we read our power statement, and you're going to have more time to go home and really finesse it, but when you read your power statement, or even those 3 new words that you want to be true about you, and you partner them up with a goal that you want, not that somebody wants for you, not in the old rule system, but one that you want for you, for your career, for your life, so that you don't have to be the work wife, even though I know you're good at it. This is the way it's done. So where do you want to put your power statement? Maybe it's on your phone screen. Maybe you write it on your mirror. Maybe you have it somewhere that you can read every single day, but do read it, and read it out loud. And the way that you want to read it is, I am powerful. I am impactful. What I contribute to my company and to the people around me creates visible impact. I'm the person that people come to when they want to feel seen, valued, and heard. I am known to be a confident problem solver. I'm the person in the room that you want in the room after I have left the room. These are the things that you want to write down. Now, it might feel really foreign and like, well, I'm not supposed to say that. Remember, you all already stood up about these things. We know that that's the old rule, and so this is how you begin to break it. The other thing that I want you to do with this is to think about what needs to be added either to your LinkedIn or your signature, so that you can start communicating that this is your brand. You know, that you are this bold person, that you are the person that people can rely on, that you are a thought partner, that you are the one that they want on the team. You're able to lead, you're able to support, you're able to collaborate. But if we don't let people know, then no one knows. You know what I mean? So this is where you get to be the director. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that giveaway in just a minute. But here's what I really want you to leave with today. The bottom line is that if you don't direct the story of your brand, somebody else will. I don't want you to wait to be picked, and I don't want you to wait for someone else to decide that you're worth it. You're already worth it. And here's the deal. When you do that, that's how you step into your boldest living, and that's how you move your brand forward. Okay? Okay, let's do a drawing, everybody. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. All right. Heba? Okay, Heba, come on up and get the book and the workbook. You know, let me go to the bottom of it. Yeah. That I caught myself there. That was not very good brand endorsement for myself even. All right. Angela Argit. Yay, come up. All right. Come on over. You can get this. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad that you came today. Thank you. Let me give that to you, Angela. Thank you. Thank you. Really good to meet you. All right, so ladies, when you think about your next step forward, make it one that you have chosen, because you are not a victim of your circumstance. Your condition is not your conclusion, and you get to choose your bold and brand strategy so that you can decide where you want to go in your career and your life. That's all the time that we have. I'm a minute over, but thank you for being here today, everybody. Have a great rest of the conference.